That motivational speech when you're exhausted? It's making your discipline worse, not better. Here's what most people get wrong about motivation. When you're exhausted mid-workout and your coach jumps in with that fired-up speech, your brain registers something specific, you've lost control, and you need external rescue. Your nervous system literally interprets that pep talk as a signal that you couldn't finish alone. So yes, you get a temporary boost and finish the set. But neurologically, you've just trained your brain to depend on outside voices during hard moments. The more your coach rescues you with motivation, the weaker your internal drive becomes. You're not building discipline, you're outsourcing it. Here's what actually happened with this kid. He was 14, training for track, and about halfway through his conditioning session, his legs started to fail. His pace dropped. His form broke down. He was genuinely struggling. That's when his coach noticed and came over with the classic move, loud voice, intense eye contact, telling him he was stronger than he thought, that he just needed to dig deeper, that champions don't quit. And it worked. The kid found a second wind, finished the workout strong, felt incredible afterward. His coach felt like a genius. But here's the problem, the kid never actually learned to push through that wall alone. He learned to wait for external rescue. Fast forward 6 months. The kid's training on his own one afternoon, hits that same exhaustion point, and this time there's no coach. No voice. No one watching. And he stops. He doesn't push. He can't, because the only tool he'd ever developed was the ability to respond to someone else's belief in him. Eventually, he quit the sport entirely. Without the coach there to motivate him, he had nothing. Real discipline doesn't come from someone else's words firing you up. It comes from learning to motivate yourself when nobody's listening. Here's what separates athletes who plateau from those who keep climbing: the ones who improve are training when nobody's watching. Not because they're more talented. Because they're building discipline in silence. When you're grinding through a set and your coach is quiet, your phone is off, and there's no music pumping, that's when your brain has to find the motivation internally. You can't lean on external energy. You have to generate it yourself. And every single time you do that, you're rewiring your nervous system to believe you can push through without permission or praise. Consider a runner training alone at dawn. Mile 3 hits, legs are heavy, and there's nobody there to yell encouragement. She has to decide, keep going or stop. When she keeps going, she's not just running a mile. She's proving to herself that her discipline is real. It exists independent of applause, coaches, or Instagram likes. That's the difference. External motivation is a loan you have to keep renewing. Internal discipline is an asset you own forever. The moment you train yourself to only push when someone's cheering, you've made yourself dependent. But the moment you learn to finish in silence, you become unbreakable. That's where real toughness comes from. Here's what separates the athletes who stay disciplined for life from the ones who fade away: the strongest performers aren't the ones who shine brightest under the lights and applause. They're the ones who learn to finish when the gym is completely empty and nobody is watching. Think about it. When you perform well because someone is cheering you on, that's not discipline, that's just responding to external energy. Real discipline is what happens at 6 in the morning when you're alone, when there's no coach, no crowd, no phone recording your set. That's when you discover if you actually have it or if you've been borrowing. Motivation from other people. The athletes who build unshakable mental toughness are the ones who train themselves to find that push internally, regardless of circumstances. They don't need a pep talk to keep going because they've already proven to themselves 1,000 times that they can finish alone. That's the difference between fragile motivation and genuine discipline. One collapses the moment external support disappears. The other gets stronger in silence.